We got a really unique show this time in that we're fishing maybe the smallest river I've ever fished for walleyes on. It's actually a tributary of the Great Lakes, and the walleyes are running up here to spawn. About a year ago, I got to go out with Jason Gaurkee here, and he's a real expert on these small to mid-sized rivers. And so he showed me some jigging tactics for some pretty big walleyes. Invited my buddy here, Jeff O'Brien, to come out and really get a feel for this fishing because it's very, very unique. It's fishing very, very shallow water. It's fishing for great big walleyes, and it's fishing to get you the next bite. Little tiny river, big mama walleye.
I'm just looking for the next bite. I'm just looking for the next bite. I'm just looking for the next bite. I'm just looking for some fish with teeth. Fish with teeth. Fish with teeth.
Keith Kavajecz, Gary Parsons, and Pete Mena live to fish. But certain fish really throw these guys over the edge. Walleye, muskie, northern pike, fish with teeth. Countless days spent on the water have turned these guys into fishing machines with an eagerness to teach people how to catch more fish. So if you're ready to become a better fisherman, join Keith, Pete, and Gary on their quest for the next bite.
I'm just looking for the next bite.
Great Lakes tributaries can be deceptively fantastic fishing resources, as they are sometimes disguised as smaller river systems that off the cuff may not be associated with being capable of producing bigger walleyes.
He's under the boat. He had to be like right next to the boat, huh?
He was.
What, did you just flip it right out here?
Just pitched down a few feet.
Looks like a good one, Jason.
But the current breaks and back eddies in these small tributaries are prime fishing for spring walleyes.
Good job.
That's a fatty there.
Chunkster, huh?
I mean, you had to like catch that right at the edge of this little back eddy that we got going on here.
Yeah, just pitched out in there, hit bottom, lift, drop, lift, drop. Lots of fun.
I mean, you had to catch him almost right below the boat, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was right on that transition line there. And I would say fresh out of the lake, too.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'll get him back in here. He'll grow up to be a little bit bigger. Oh, that's pretty darn big right now.
We'll take
Nice
him.
job, nice job.
There she goes. All right.
Right back into his little whirlpool there. So Jeff, I know you haven't jigged for walleyes a real lot, and just give you a couple tips here as we get going this morning.
Sure.
Just make sure, first of all, that you know you're on the bottom. And that's why I gave you that bright green line. It's actually called a solar line, and that reason for that is so you can watch that line, and as the jig falls to the bottom, your line will collapse and you'll know you're down there. Because in the river here, all the fish will be down close to the bottom.
Got it.
The second thing is walleyes bite really light. In fact, they don't bite at all. What they do is suck the bait in their mouth, and then with their sharp teeth, they just hold it. And if they figure out something's wrong, they just simply open their mouth and blow it back out. So you only got a little bit of time to set the hook, and that's why we use real sensitive rods. And actually the line we're using is called Sensation. It's a lower stretch monofilament, so you can quickly feel those bites. And then it's just real important to set the hook. And I mean set the hook no matter what you feel. If you feel weight, mushiness, a tick, anything, take and set the hook, because walleyes aren't going to grab it and run around and pull for you. You're going to have to just sense that little bit of a bite and set the hook. Then once you do set the hook, make sure you just kind of wait for a second, and then just let that fish fight a little bit so that you don't rip that jig right out of their mouth. If you set the hook and start reeling, that's just no good. So keep it on the bottom, feel for them bites, set the hook hard, and catch a really big one. That's what I'm hoping for, buddy. That's what I'm hoping for.
That's what I'm hoping for too.
Fish. Oh, good one too. Nice fish. Of course, not nearly as big. Not too bad though.
No, not too bad at all. No.
I'm gonna get right up here on the deck. He doesn't want. Oh yeah, it's a good one, Jason. All right, here we go. There he is. He's giving us the belly down look there. All right, I'm going to drag him right to you, Jason.
All right,
get him.
I got him.
Get him now. Get him. Get him. Nice. Good netting job.
All right.
Hippity hop.
Another chunky, huh?
I mean, I didn't hop that jig one time, and boom, he hit it, you know. They might be moving in, man. They might be moving in. And that's what they'll do on these rivers a lot of times. They'll kind of come as a pack up the river, and then we're just fishing these little bit of a hole, so they kind of hang out in these deeper spots before they move on up further. So
Yeah, these are the first fish of the year, no question about it.
I mean, look at how fresh he looks. Probably coming right out of the bay, I would say, huh?
Yes, out of that real cold water.
Colder and deeper, up into the shallow river. Hiding out in the holes.
Nice warm river.
Man, these are some of the freshest, probably, like you said, the first run this year.
I'm sure they are.
I'm glad we're here.
Me too.
Goodbye.
Today, Keith, Jeff, and I are focused on a Great Lakes tributary. The walleyes are moving up this river right now to spawn. There's 3 general areas you want to look for to cash in on this great bite. First area is any area that offers increased depth, or in other words, holes. These holes, the walleyes will stack up. Secondly, you want to look for creases. Those are those areas where slow water meets fast water. Walleyes stack up naturally on the slower side of that crease. Lastly, rivers offer what we refer to as barriers. Those are areas that actually will block current and create these slow water eddies where the walleyes are stacking up. Such areas might be wing dams, bars, outcrops from the actual natural land that create current breaks. Throw a jig and minnow in these areas and you're going to catch walleyes.
The next bite is presented by Mercury. Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. And Motor Guide, never stop. Targeting holes, creases, and barriers in this small Great Lakes tributary has professional angler Keith Kavajecz,
Fish.
river expert Jason Gaurkee,
You are absolutely on fire, Keith. My God.
and special guest Jeff O'Brien.
Nice. Yeah, look at how he smacked
that's
it.
nice.
Huh? That's right where you want that old jig to be.
He is sucked in there.
Developing a pretty friendly rapport with these river walleyes.
Look at how he's pulling on this thing. He's just hanging there, I'm hanging here. We're kind of hanging out together, man. That's all it is, you know. Jig meet walleye. Walleye meet jig.
As they continue to whittle down the details of their jigging presentation.
Jason, I pitched that probably up 10 feet from that bank. Can only be 5 or 6 feet deep over there, I would imagine, huh?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it didn't take my jig very long to hit the bottom.
And whether the bites are coming from further up in the shallows or even out a bit deeper, the walleyes are hugging bottom.
You ready, Jason?
I'm ready.
Get out there and get him, man. Get him. Nice. I'm loving your netting. I'm loving them. When you go, they're in.
Which is where using stand-up jig heads can really provide an advantage.
He kind of just picked it up. I didn't even really feel a tick. It was just kind of I lifted up and I felt the weight and set the hook. And it's one thing a lot of people don't realize is how often these walleyes can suck them right off the bottom, that jig.
Yeah, he was hugging the bottom like a monster.
But I got him, and he wasn't getting away. So one of the important things to remember when you're out fishing a river like this is that walleyes are going to be on the bottom when it's current like this. So you got to make sure that jig and that minnow stay close to the bottom. So what I like to do is just, pitch this jig out and then simply watch your line. And what I'm watching for is that line to collapse a little. That says that it hit the bottom. Then the next thing that we found to be real important, because this is such cold water, I mean, we're in the only mid to upper 30s here, the fish aren't real active. They kind of want a slow presentation. So all I'm doing is I'm reeling down and then I'm lifting my jig about 6 inches off the bottom, and then it's real important, just hold your bait right there. And what's happening is that as you hold it, that jig is just swimming with the current, nice and naturally, kind of right in their face. So keep your jig close to the bottom, don't move your rod too much, and you're gonna catch a lot of walleyes.
The real deal. Real fishing information from real fishing experts. Presented by Amsoil.
When you're looking at a new fishing boat, there's a few things that you look for. Comfort, storage features, how much fishing equipment you can fit in that boat. I'm sitting in the Tracker Targa V18, a phenomenal layout for the fishermen and for the family. Now what Tracker did last year, 2011, is actually revamp the entire deep V lineup of aluminum boats they have. This one is that Targa 18, the largest one they have. Basically, Tracker asked us to go out to the anglers, talk to them about what they wanted to see in boats, and they really hit the nail on the head with this one. The first thing you probably look for in a fishing boat is having a great size live well. Well, we accommodated with that here. I mean, you have a live well, aerated, stretches across the whole back, can fit a bunch of big fish in. You got separators, you have a built-in aerated bait well right next to it. You can keep your live minnows right in the back here. Don't have to bring an extra bucket along, keep things out of the way. One of the coolest things they did with this boat is actually stretched it a little bit wider. It's got a 102-inch beam, so very wide, nice and stable, good for the whole family, good for a bunch of different people in the boat. But what that allowed them to do is something that just is a really cool feature, and that's actually having drop-in rod storage inside the gunnel. You can see you can fit long trolling rods, you can fit, long rigging rods, whatever type of rods you want in the sides, and that's on each side of the gunnel. Now the bonus with also widening that out is not only did you get that storage on top, but you got the storage right here too. On the inside of that gunnel, you can fit rods up each side. You can fit life jackets up there. So just more storage. The more storage, the better in boats like this. From there, we go up front a little bit. You have the in-floor storage. And the one main thing that a lot of fishermen asked for is that center rod storage. Well, Tracker accommodated. You have a nice center rod storage, 5 tubes. You can fit your shorter jigging rods, your rigging rods in there. So there's a lot of, throughout this whole boat, tons of rod storage. You go up front, there's a nice sized deck. You can control the boat up there. You can move around a lot. There's netting inside the gunnels up front. Very cool feature. You can put your clothes out of the way so they're not sitting on the floor of the boat. Now the beauty about this boat too is if you're not necessarily just a hardcore angler, you like to take the family out, you like to do a little bit of skiing, this boat is actually available in what they call the combo model. You get your ski pylon, you get the ski seats, there's a smaller live well in it, so you can still fish out of it, but it goes more toward the family end of things. So 2 different options, this walk-through 18, the combo 18. If you equip that with that 115 to 150 Merc on it, this one has a Mercury Verado 150. All these features in this boat are gonna give you one heck of a fishing or boating machine.
While the potential to catch big walleyes in this small tributary is certainly here, numbers are equally important when it comes down to truly rounding out a great bite.
I was just saying, a couple of the fish we were getting was when he started retrieving, and no sooner than I say it, I was going to reel in and recast and
How big is he?
thump.
Especially when the river adds its own influence into the fight, as Keith, Jason, and Jeff continue to pick apart current seams.
They're fun in this current though, huh?
Yeah. The current probably adds a couple inches to the fight, doesn't it?
And a good pound.
Yeah, a little pink and white, huh? Pink and white?
Yeah, it's kind of a shad pattern. Match the hatch here a little bit.
Matching, huh? That's what they got in here, shad, huh? Got the job done.
Got the job done. Right in that little crease there.
Yeah, kind of where the current is bouncing around that little island and coming, the regular current's coming here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Angling walleyes in rivers, small or large, always brings with it some additional challenges, even in perfect weather conditions.
Jason, there seems to be like a little dead spot right out here.
Yeah, you can kind of
it's
see
like my jig just slows down and then, I don't know. I got one. Got him. Right after the dead zone.
Which is why jigging as a technique can be both accessible to novice anglers, but also a continuing challenge to even the most experienced of tournament anglers.
It's just something out there, the current is different or something, it just slows way down. I like the dead zone.
I like the dead zone.
However, some of these conditional factors, like currents or dead zones, are perfectly fitting for a jig bite.
Here, I'll bring him right to you. I drag him right to you. Get him. Nice. Very good.
As one of the most important aspects of excelling with the technique itself is learning the feel of the line, the jig, or even the lightest of bites.
Got him on that green again too, huh?
Yeah, green. A little green and chartreuse. Yeah, see? That'll work, huh? So real quick here, I want to let you know what kind of jigs we're using. By far, our best colors have been something with green or chartreuse in them. Fire Tiger, chartreuse and orange, green and chartreuse. The chartreuse and green has been our best. Make sure you look for a semi-stand-up or stand-up head when you're fishing this type of river. Lots of snags down there, whether it be wood or rock. When you got these stand-up heads, that hook remains in an upright position. You get a lot fewer snags. And the other real advantage to this is the hook is in the right position to get them right in the nose and the mouth and get them into the boat.
It seems like a pretty good one.
Get out of the way. Let's get out of your way then. Pump it pretty good or what?
Yeah, he's pulling on it
He's
pretty
getting out
good.
in that heavy current now.
Yep. Yeah, he's on there good.
Just wait for me now.
Okay. Okay. He's coming up.
You're so far out in that current, I'm going to extend it here a little.
Here it comes.
I got him.
All right.
I got him.
All right.
They get out in that current and they want to get in way behind the boat like that.
Yeah, he
Thinking
took
wide.
it. He put in a pretty good fight.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a nice fish.
He is a good fish. Here, I'll let you grab him here. Get your jig out for you. Boy, you weren't going to lose him, were you?
No, he's in there good.
There you go.
Again, right on that nose.
There you go. Just kind of grab his head. That's a beautiful fish.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so wide here, and they get that wide, and then they get that body turned in this big, heavy current. I mean, you caught him pretty much out in the fastest
Yeah, he
current.
sure was, yep.
Did he hit it hard? Or?
He hit it real hard there, actually. He pulled it right back down to the bottom, too. He was
Perfect.
fighting on it pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and release him.
Okay.
Let's get another one. Nice.
Thank you.
Hot topics, leading information on tackle and techniques to make you a better fisherman. Presented by Mercury.
There's one on the screen. Come on. He's out of there. Yeah, these LCDs are just the way to go for ice fishing.
Yeah. You know, there's no comparison. All those guys using flashers, quite frankly, they're old school. And I've used flashers for thousands of hours. They're just no comparison to these things.
When these fish come in, they're just plain as day. You can see how big they are right away.
Yeah, you know, you were actually catching a lot more fish than me at first, and all I had to do was walk over there and look at your screen. It actually records your jig cadence, so you can see exactly what you were doing. I started mimicking it, went back, started doing it over here, and started catching all kinds of fish. You can't share that kind of information if you've got a flasher. It just doesn't work.
No, it's pretty easy. It's pretty awesome.
Professional angler Keith Kavajecz.
Nice bite. I mean, he just dunk.
Small to mid-sized river expert Jason Gaurkee and gearhead Jeff O'Brien
Yeah, here he comes. Here he comes. Get him. Got him.
may have narrowed down chartreuse and green colored jigs for the tackle end of their presentation, but it all started with matching some of the natural forage base of these small tributary walleyes.
What do they eat in this river here?
Well, the forage base consists primarily of chubs, river minnows. There are some shad that come in here from time to time.
Cool.
Right now, it's whatever they can find.
However, one of their biggest advantages overall might be one that is too often taken for granted.
When fishing a small river system, one of the most important pieces of equipment you can have is a good anchor. What makes this anchor unique is the fact that it has a sliding mechanism. It can lock up in front. If you have to turn around and get it from reverse, the chain actually slides and you can pull it out of any snag that's down there in the river. Another reason why an anchor is so important is a lot of the holes and runs we're fishing are a lot smaller here than on bigger river systems. So drifting over a spot sometimes is very ineffective. What we're doing is we're pushing up 25 to 30 feet above these holes, dropping the anchor and sliding back so the hole that we want to fish is just downriver from us. We almost there, Keith?
Yep. I think go ahead and drop her.
We'll let her go.
So with a repositioned boat, and maybe thanks to an established pattern,
Here we go.
Jeff takes Keith up on his earlier well wishes.
So keep it on the bottom, feel for them bites, set the hook hard, and catch a really big one.
And reels in a perfect example of a monster of a walleye for such a small tributary system.
Oh, he's a big one.
Wow, look at that.
Monster. Whoa! Look at this thing. Well, you wanted to catch the biggest fish ever. You just did it, man. That's a monster.
I did not think it was that size.
This is a big old female here. This is a big old female. Do you see him this often like this, Jason?
Well, this is on the bigger end of things, that's for sure.
We like the big end of things.
Wow, look at that
Look at the
monster.
size of this
Whoa.
fish.
That's got to be a 10-pounder.
Little tiny river, big mama walleye. Look at that thing. It's a great fish. Why don't you go ahead and hold this?
Thank you.
But that's the kind of thing you can get this time of year. I mean, we get all these fish running up this river and spawning, and man, look at the size of that thing.
That's a monster. Yeah.
What's really cool about this is how many fish we caught today. I mean, it was just spectacular fishing. I mean, we're out here, you aren't fishing real deep, you aren't fishing in a lot of weather, you're up in a little tiny river, but yet great big walleyes in there. It's fun to come out with a guy like Jason who knows the river like this.
Absolutely.
And teach you a little bit about jigging, a little bit about fighting fish, a little bit about netting.
Yep.
She fought her heart out, didn't she?
There she goes.
Nice. I got a smallmouth. I switched over to smallmouth fishing. I found that the chartreuse jig with the smallmouth, they are a beautiful species, those smallmouth, and pound per pound, one of the best fighting fish in the world. Very nice, beautiful.
Look at the meat on that thing.
You sound like a guy who wants to eat this darn thing.
Yes, I do. That is a beautiful fish.
He's a little too big to eat, so we'll put him back. Maybe we'll catch you some eaters.
That sounds good.
I think I'm about to get another bite. I've got that loving feeling.
That's for sure.
Woo, we like the big end of things.
Wow, look at that
Look at
monster.
the size of this
Whoa.
fish.
That's got to be a 10-pounder.
Little tiny river, big. Big.
Captain Jason Gaurkee is a full-time river fishing guide with over 30 years of experience on Wisconsin's rivers and flowages. A past and current record holder, Jason is devoted to the truest of river fishing experiences. See more on Jason's river adventures at riverguide.com.